I am Damonous. Jesus is my king. You are my family. Hello, I am Damonous. Thanks for joining. In an example of what I like to call the McCain backstab, we have failed to get Obamacare repealed in any way, shape, or form. So last night the Senate put up several bills to try and get votes passed for one of the measures to get it back to the House for final vote or committee, but it was stopped, and it was stopped essentially by one man. Now, let's look at the lead up. Senator Graham and Senator McCain, along with Ron Johnson and Bill Cassidy, did a little press conference to talk about how they wanted to get their own bills through, but then what is called the skinny bill, which was a quick repeal of several very damaging provisions of Obamacare. How they were talking about the skinny bill and how, well, it's not the best, but they'll vote for it
it satisfies
as
the
long
governor,
as they get
I would be
assurances that it'll
satisfied.
go to the
Right
House
now,
committee.
my governor is not satisfied.
Be worked on for
One last question from South Carolina.
Has the parliamentarian said that your amendment with Bill Cassidy would be congressable?
I am 99% sure that we'll get a memo from the parliamentarians saying that the Graham, Cassidy, Heller, maybe Johnson bill will be conferenceable, and that block has been checked, and I really wasn't too much worried about anything above that until I got a call from Mark Meadows. And I got a call from Mark Meadows, who believes, like Ron does, and I do, that the skinny bill is not a replacement, that Obamacare is collapsing, and the skinny bill won't prevent it from collapsing, and in many ways makes everything worse. So that part of it, I think we're good to go. I just need an assurance. And what's an insurance? Who asked that? Okay. And here's what an assurance.
What is the guarantee?
Okay.
Blood oath? Is it
So, I mean, I think that's funny, right? They're talking about, we need assurances from Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, that it's going to go to committee. So what actually happened was McCain cast the crucial vote against the skinny Obamacare repeal. Senator John McCain of Arizona cast the crucial surprise vote that killed the Senate Republicans' last resort Obamacare repeal bill early Friday morning in a shocking moment that at least temporarily ended the GOP's hopes of eliminating the former president's signature healthcare law. Because I really hope now that this wakes people up. People in Arizona especially, if you cannot recall this politician, you must vote him out next time around. And I'm not saying, hey, go for a Democrat. I'm just saying someone needs to stand up in Arizona. Someone, a Republican, needs to run against this guy in the primaries, needs to defeat him. So we saw in the other video from C-SPAN that Ron Johnson was one of the guys up there with Graham and McCain talking about the different things they had on the table and how they were going to try and, most of them were saying they were going to go for voting for the skinny bill, at least with the hopes and the assurances that would go to committee in the House. McCain actually does say that, no, I'm not going to vote for it, even then. But everyone else was kind of wishy-washy. Senator Graham, you can watch that whole video if you want. I'll give you the link. Was kind of saying, hey, I'm probably going to vote for it, but I don't like it unless I get assurances. And that's why they were joking about what assurances do you need? A blood oath, firstborn, right? And, this article says Ryan tried to provide some assurance by telling senators that he was willing to work with them. But a Ryan spokesperson earlier in the day described a conference negotiation as an option, but not a certainty. And, to be honest, I think in this case, this is such an important thing, and it's such an important promise that has been made, not just by Trump, but all the Republicans that are elected right now, that, to me, I would have just said, sure, yeah, I promise, and then push it forward anyway. So this is from the Phoenix Times, and of course they're making him up to be, a great guy for having been the one casting the deciding vote to defeat the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. He sided with two other Republicans, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and 48 Democrats to defeat the scaled-back attempt to repeal the ACA, 51-49. And here's the thing, too. This is what's so important. What's so significant about McCain doing this? Had he not even voted, had he not been there, Vice President Pence was there ready to cast the deciding vote. In the event of a tie, and this is the only time in the Constitution that the Vice President really has any kind of power, per se, other than being the backup guy. And this is reflected in a tweet from President Trump. 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. As I said from the beginning, let Obamacare implode, then deal. Watch. So I think it sounds like that's where we're at. Maybe there will be another attempt, hopefully, to get rid of this. And one of the things I wanted to point out was what was in the skinny bill. The skinny repeal healthcare bill, released late Thursday evening, does not, this is before knowing that this article was before it was turned down, does not institute changes to Medicaid, but does bring some significant changes to Obamacare's individual marketplace. Here's what we know so far about the skinny repeal bill. Repeals the individual mandate. That's the unconstitutional forcing of everyone who doesn't have a job, doesn't have employer insurance, to get Obamacare, essentially affordable care, or pay a fine. I'm not sure what you, the viewer, is thinking on this, but when the Declaration of Independence says we have certain unalienable rights given to us by our Creator, one of those is not to have health care, but to be free of being fined, to be free to live and take your chances if you want. And that's one of the things. How much, if you believe in God, how much do you believe in God? Do you believe in God enough to rely on Him for your strength and for your health? One of the other things, it repeals the employer mandate, delays the medical tax device until December 2020, cuts federal funding for Planned Parenthood for 1 year. This is an amazing thing. So for Republicans and conservatives, it is almost unilaterally, it's a very big part of the Republican platform to be against abortion and paying for abortion. This would have been amazing to see Planned Parenthood defunded. Now it says for 1 year, so I guess it's a test, right, to see how things go without them having funding. But that would be an amazing thing, and more than just an amazing thing, but an amazing fulfillment of promises that Republicans have made. Fully repeals Obamacare's funding for public health programs, increases funding for community health programming, and broadens the waiver program for states to roll back Obamacare regulations. So if just those 7 things were in the bill, without reading the whole thing, or the whole context of the bill, but if just those 7 things, and a couple of those things in particular, if they were in there, that would get rid of some things that were really terrible that were added via the ACA. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Catch me on these alternate media sources.